New York at this point. What can I do for you material-wise, where we could be helping your children?
It would be really great to talk with the youth that are in the. What we're doing right now is figuring out like a 4-day curriculum for the fall semester.
Oh, I love that.
So we want to do an intensive in each school.
Wow.
And see which schools can help us supply
Well,
some
you've got my
time.
school, I can tell you, I can talk.
That'd be awesome.
I have 135, I have the main building, do you deal with little ones or just?
Yeah,
The
most
main building is K-1. The early childhood center, the big building is 2-5. And then I have in Chinatown, then I have all over Brooklyn. So by September, we'll have 22 schools. We have churches, we have synagogues.
So cool.
Yeah. So however we can help you, any materials you need, because like I said, the reason I'm helping him is not because Lynn's Kids or Saving Souls is going to be doing anything fabulous. It's not about saving souls. It is about empowering youth. When we don't empower youth, we're losing them, and by not teaching them God, that is the worst thing that we
It's
can do.
the greatest oppression on the face of the
I
planet.
can't imagine.
Anything that gets in the way of people coming to God's word and within the Baha'i view, it's like
I've been looking at
it's so beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's
So what is your vision as far as, did you agree with me what I said about the prayer thing, that if we could take the prayers and all of LKR, not Saving Souls, all of Lynn's Kids International camps, say it one day, it doesn't have to be
so
during the.
incredible.
Of course we'll do it.
It would make it
We'll have, right, and I'm sure that Hassan al-Mubarak can actually put it in different languages for us, and we can have every country. I have Lynn's Kids Nigeria, we'll have Ozidi do that. And Lynn's Kids Gambia, I'll speak to Pat Tay, but he only deals with women. He's a women's empowerment camp, that's a good thing too. I have Lynn's Kids, we're gonna have so many different camps that are opening up, and I'm proud to say that Lynn's Kids camps are open already, so I feel good. Next will be Hassan, and if he comes, we'll talk to him. If not, we'll see him when we go to Morocco. And we have Mubarak in Morocco, his camp will start when I get there. And we have Sierra Leone, which is underway, they have one more week and then their camp is over. And what I love, well, I didn't love what happened in Nigeria. I felt that not enough people were going out for those girls because they don't live here, they're foreigners. When you tell me that, when I led that march, and I'm leading a march with so many different people, and I had 4 people. 4 people. Doesn't matter what color of my skin. Don't judge me by the color of my skin. Judge me by the person I am with it. How dare you not come to march for girls that are being abducted? And this Gaza-Israel thing. I mean, it's really.
These guys are completely off the rocker.
That's what I mean. That's why we need God. Can you imagine what God must be saying to himself?
Today, I think my wife was.
I can't wait to meet your wife.
She's awesome, and she grew up Jewish and really knows the Torah. She really knows even some things that mostly women weren't allowed to even come in contact with. And now she's a Baha'i too, and she is explaining that on this weekend that the traditional. I can't remember. It's like I'm not Jewish, so there's a. I mean, I would consider myself, yes, that Moses is a manifestation of God.
You're everyone. You're every religion.
Thank the Lord. But apparently right now, like the entire focus for the entire Jewish community right now is the 10 Commandments.
Oh, of course.
You know, and it's like how that. I mean, that in and of itself, if people did just follow that, it would solve this problem. And it's like written there. The very first right now is like being made into a conditional thing by political powers, and those are.
I can't imagine.
It's crazy, and I don't think anybody Jewish really feels any type of affinity with it.
Of course not. And what about that apartment building, which is opening with a door for the rich and a door for the poor? What does that say about it? Didn't you read about that? It's right up here.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
I was just talking with my friend. My friend, you guys should meet him. He's right there. He's a 9/11 victim, and he's right on 14th Street. He's right there every day. He's there now, and he was telling me how I mean, most of my friends who are homeless, the entire homeless system was completely destroyed, unfortunately, under Giuliani. And this, and it's continued now. It's starting to slightly loosen back in to have some humanity. But this man and his story, I mean, as a 9/11 responder or as a 9/11 victim,
Maybe we can help him.
maybe you'll know some people who can
Well,
just help
I'm
him
working
with
at
paper.
FedCap now. I'm volunteering at FedCap, which is the Federation for the Handicapped. And Lynn's Kids gives 3 days a week to help them, so I think I can get him into the system.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, like I said, I'm only here to help you, because I know that you're helping children, and that's so important to me. I think that the reason that Ted and I got to know each other is because we're both water advocates. We believe that water is, how do we live without water? Do you want to tell them a little bit about what you do?
This this rowing trip with Owen Nashoni is to me like the most immediate way for people to start to connect to this waterway and this state and its history. And
How do you live without water?
it's impossible. And right now, this a lot of the people who had helped create this event, like Emily, and I think pronouncing her last name is Coltrane.
Yes,
She's awesome. With and
I met her.
she's great, and she really has helped organize the people who are saying fracking is not allowed here. And
I don't want to hear that. Fracking is all over the place. It's upstate Mini-Snack. And can you imagine children waking up every day to compressors?
yeah, this
How is that? How do you live with that?
it's crazy how, and even in that neighborhood, in that town, it's the highest population of 9/11 first responders, and this compressor station is
I would be scared, so how would a child be?
yeah. And I mean the disrespect, like a lot of these people who talk about patriotism and then they're willing to put an explosive compressor station in a neighborhood of 9/11 first responders, and they all say no, and they all most of these 9/11 responders can't pay their medical bills.
I know.
And same with this man here, who's a 9/11, victim.
Maybe we
And,
can actually one night, or one day, after you get through with this nonsense and my conference is over, I would like to do it when Vinny was here and Oshria too, because they know a lot of people. And maybe we can help them, but in a quiet setting, not people are walking in and out, because their stuff is their private stuff. We're saving souls, we might be, and I'll list Mike Noble. I think you met Mike Noble. At that meeting, and Carolyn and Michael will sit in on that too, because they know people too. The point is, we're here to help everybody, not only children. We're here to help everybody, because what's going on in this world, I'm asking Ted, I know this isn't what you have to do here, but there are people that do not understand. Ted knows more about the Trans-Pacific Partnership than I do, so I'd like you to explain to people all over the world who don't know what's going on with that. Because as far as I'm concerned, if this goes through, we don't have to worry about fracking, we won't be alive, so go ahead.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership is
Sick over this.
it's the last attempt by a completely illegitimate set of extreme elite people who have nothing, just a bunch of money, because they know how to dominate, they know how to compete and kill people out of any type of field. And the largest 600 corporations have been planning this trade scheme that essentially makes it impossible. Actually, it makes it so that whatever country joins it has to put its environmental, health, as well as patent, like medical costs. So down to the lowest. So any country, it's basically a race to the bottom where the 600 companies become more powerful than the countries. The countries have to answer to the corporations on an equal
And this is scary.
stage. So that
Did you know about this?
yeah, this thing. So it makes it so that these companies in a court of law, an international tribunal, become equal to nations, and we're stuck with this right now.
How do we stop this? That's a question I have.
So there's several ways that we stop it. I mean, first is to pressure our own system to say this is anybody who signs this is a traitor, and then because they are, I mean, they're basically saying that the United States is on equal playing field with, or I know that protests will not actually get it out, but that we have to be very strategic. We have to be. Because the thing is that these are psychopaths, and
Yeah, definitely.
psychopaths only become more emboldened with punishment. So it's a neurological problem where
It's a very serious thing. I don't think, there are a lot of people that don't know about this. Like, they don't know about libraries closing.
all of this litany.
God.
Yeah, and we need to, in terms of organizing it, the only way I could say is that I think we need new inspirational systems to inspire like how we make it so it's impossible. But
I have more mobility now. I have a bigger workforce. And if you could think of ways to do it, I'll give you more people.
gosh, I know there's too many. The local Bill of Rights is one way.
Yes, and I love that.
It's really a strong system.
I love it. I love it.
Because no matter what, the country still exists. We can state any so-called public official that signs this thing without the people's voice. This is what needs to be replaced.
It really
If there's no people's voice in this agreement, and we can't look at the agreement because it's secret. It only gets leaked, and the people who are leaking it are being held like, in asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in freaking London, and or being labeled like unpatriotic, or terrorists or something, So it's if you say that a company is destroying lives or is threatening to destroy the U.S. Constitution, which all 600 of these companies need to be put on, they need to be sued for or put. And there's one. Sorry, it's all coming back.
That's okay. We both.
But the answer is that we need to first file a lawsuit with every public official that's involved, and for a conflict of interest. So there's a list of I've already listed 3 of them, and these are the senators and congressmen that are involved in this. And you can easily prove that they have a conflict of interest, and this is bringing it up in the criminal court under section 226 of conflict of interest. And it's unbelievably easy to prove, because these public officials have to have their private finances and investments publicly available, and I've looked at the list of their finances late at night, and it's like, they're all invested in the same companies that are trying to destroy the Constitution. So they're traitors. We can't say that they're traitors because
we can do this a little bit differently.
But we just say that they have a conflict of interest.
Can we bring children into this? It's their future. It's the children's future. I could have every school march against it.
Maybe. I would say if they just did videos saying,
it's their world.
Or like their country, just even saying, I don't believe, if they are happy to say something like, I don't think a corporation is on equal playing field with the U.S. Constitution, or I don't want McDonald's to be able to sue America. No, that's like saying that a student should be able to discipline a teacher. That's crazy. The company has to answer to the Constitution.
To me that something like that could happen. I'm very, 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 very upset about this. Now, I have somebody coming in that I want you to meet at the conference. You're going to decide when you want to talk. Carol will talk from 10 to 11 after that, anytime you want. And he's a wonderful gentleman. His name is Oshri. And Oshri will volunteer time during the year, because I'll bring him in to do art murals about this. He's an artist, and he lives in California. And he will, you don't know Oshri, but you'll never say no to me. He'll volunteer to help. He's also very big on bringing God back into the classroom. He's very big on...
I think you can just bring it into the culture.
Yes.
It's the classrooms, I think, bringing any moral education, any morality, and the fact that
How about right and wrong? Wouldn't that be nice?
yeah, and I don't think people should be oppressed for their religion. Like that's the thing is,
Absolutely not.
schools are not, they're not even allowing people to be of faith, and it doesn't.
And look at that, and I was watching my kids, because I don't think you know about this, this is really gonna get to you on this, we're gonna go off the religion thing, because children learn by reading. PS 135, I was part of a grant, we wrote a grant for this library, and Isa was with me, and she came to visit my library, and I don't think you could come that day, but I had Patrick came, and Christina didn't come, Regina Bull came, and they didn't understand why I was doing Celebrate Libraries. They closed that beautiful library that we wrote the grant for. Why did they close it? They closed it because they didn't have a library teacher. Because the budget is such that there's no library. So that gorgeous library, one child told me that he's been in the school for 2 years, he never got to take out a book. So Lynn's Kids and Saving Souls is going to open up the library 5 mornings a week. How do you close a library? Closing a library is closing a mind.
Yeah, hundreds. Yeah.
See, but this is an attack, Ted, on public assets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like why would, unfortunately, I don't like to peg names, but
peg names, I like
if Giuliani, if he closed all of the homeless shelters, that's a public asset. Like, that's public infrastructure. Why? So that there are workers who live outside of Manhattan.
How do you close a homeless shelter?
Who have to come into the city as workers, and they have no equality, they have no, there's no access for them except as being used. And so poor people live over there, and there's a whole other legal system going on, there's a whole other culture, there's a whole other, in the Bronx, and it's not everywhere in the Bronx, but the Bronx is being forced as an outside the city space, and that tendency has made it so that, this whole city is disconnected from the whole planet. You got this whole La La Land of a Disney World almost, and you can learn from our brothers and sisters who have somehow survived on a street, and then it's our duty to make sure that they're not without a home. There is and that's now illegal, but that same tendency is just to reap more profits. It's just this domination.
Everything is to reap more profits. Now, if you were reading the New York Times, you would have read the story about a little girl named Dasani. Well, I'm gonna send you some back articles.
I know that.
This is a little girl, wonderful, right?
Oh, was she the one on social media who?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tish brought her in. I donate every Friday morning and Wednesday morning I work at Tish's. And Tish brought her in, and Tish got to help, and Letitia James is to me a heroine. But the point is, why should she have been in a place where there were rats, and how do you live in these shelters? So when I spoke, have you ever been onto the Brooklyn Bridge?
Yeah, and the people who own these shelters make, 6 figures.
I know,
they make $600
Well,
something
how do we let them
thousand
get away
dollars.
with that? How do we let them close libraries? And I have to tell you about this because your friend Lynn was very outspoken, and so was Michael and Carolyn. We went to a meeting of the NYPL because Michael had Grand on the Plaza. So I brought my book, and I don't have many copies of it. Everybody has my books. I don't have that. My children, it was the 2nd grade class, I think it was, they wrote, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Why is that a title?" Because they couldn't believe it, that they closed the public library. They said, "Well, if they say public library, Mrs. Rosen, then aren't we the public?" I thought that was a fabulous question. I actually hugged the little girl that said that, and I let them write the book. Well, the only thing I did was I think I edited that one, and I brought the book with me. Not on purpose, I just happened to have the book with me when we went to the meeting, and Michael said to me, "Give that person over there the book." Her name was Linda something or other. She was very unimpressive to me. And they were supposed to be voting on closing the Brooklyn Heights Library as a real estate thing, and they were supposed to take the vote that night. So I walked over to her, because she doesn't know me. She knows Michael. She wouldn't talk to him, because Michael is very outspoken too. And she took the book. I said, "I want to give this to you. I want to show you how much I love libraries." I didn't come across as I'm Michael's friend, and I'm from Citizens. I said, "I'm an author, and my children wrote this." Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an author and my children wrote this. And she took the book and